Hi, today we're making Texas sheet cake. Will you come join me, please? Thank you. Okay, so I am making Texas sheet cake for a couple of reasons. One, it's one of my favorite desserts. It's delicious. Two, it's from Texas, like my mommy, and she used to make it, so I get to send her a picture and hopefully she'll tell me if it's good or not. I'll put whatever she says to the picture at the end of the video, so we'll see how that goes. And I am also making it because it's a very, very pantry friendly recipe. I had pretty much everything that I needed just like ready to go, just like normal baking supplies like flour, sugar, eggs, butter, blah, blah, blah. The only thing I needed to re-up on was buttermilk because mine was very gross and bad. But this recipe is coming from the stay-at-home chef. She is so awesome. Her videos are really self-explanatory and very nice to watch. And her recipes are just the same. They're great and they're easy and they hopefully are gonna yield a very good product. I might tweak a couple things along the way, but you guys will be right there with me and I'll keep you updated on what's going on there. For right now, I need to eat something because I haven't had any real food today. And as much as I would love to have my first meal of the day be a chocolate cake, I need to be a little responsible. So I will see you guys in a minute. Okay, so I figured since it's really pretty out and the lighting's nice, I would do stuff over here, but I'm now realizing that I can't get both in the shot. So let me walk you through it real quick. So over there, we have our dry ingredients. This is our flour, our sugar, some baking soda, and some cocoa. We're gonna whisk that up. And then we also obviously have our vegetable oil. That's my Red Bull. We have 2 eggs that are at room temperature. We have vanilla, buttermilk, some warm water, and then our pan that we're gonna be putting everything into. We're gonna start whisking up our dry ingredients. We have our warm water, and we have a cup of warm water. I like to do it in these big Pyrex measuring cups. That way I can do all my measurements in here and whisk it all up together. 1 cup of warm water, which we have, and 1 cup of buttermilk. Make sure you always shake your buttermilk. There's a lot of sediment that falls to the bottom, like some thicker parts, which I understand sounds gross. All right, we need a cup of this guy. I also really love buttermilk actually. It's sort of one of my like little secrets. Whenever I'm making a cake or something and it calls for milk, I'll always do buttermilk instead. The like thicker texture and the tangy aspect to it makes most things much better instead of just like regular plain milk. What else? 1/3 cup vegetable oil. So now I'm just gonna go up to the 2 1/3 line. Yeah, I like to measure it out in this, that way everything is together, it's in one place, it's fine. I'll give that a little whisk together even though it won't combine. I have 2 eggs that have come to room temperature. I'm also just gonna crack these straight into there. Incorporate this one. Maybe this was not as good of an idea as I thought it was. And there you go, that color changes. You can tell that the yolk broke. Now that I'm looking back at it, I'm realizing that this dry mix did not call for any salt. So I'm just gonna add a pinch of salt in there to make sure that that chocolate flavor really comes out. I'm going to prep my pan first. So with the Texas sheet cake, it's baked right in the sheet pan. You need a 13 by 18 sheet pan. I'm just gonna rub a shitload of butter on it. The reason that I wanted to make sure that we had this pan ready to go was because the second that the baking soda and the acid from the buttermilk start to interact, they are starting the like baking process. And so you don't want that reaction to start until it is like basically ready to go in the oven. We don't need the 3 minutes that that pan preparation took for that reaction to be happening in our bowl. So that's why we wanted to just make sure everything is ready to go. Our oven is preheated to 350 degrees. As soon as we're done combining our dry and our wet, we can throw it in the oven and it will be ready to go. So we are now ready to mix our ingredients. I have my wet mixture that I'm going to pour right on into my dry mixture. Ah, I forgot vanilla. I'll just eyeball that. Oh, maybe too much, that's fine. Okay, now we don't want to over mix it, so I'm just gonna make sure those sides are scraped down. Also, I'm not advising that you eat any raw eggs or flour. Don't do what I do. Not safe. Don't try this at home. Okay, now we are just going to throw her in our oven at 350 for like 15 minutes. Look, now we're over here. So What we're gonna, sorry, there's a spider web on my lens. What we're gonna do is use our Fisher nuts that we love so much, which sounds like a sponsored ad. I very much wish it was. However, they did send me these, so I know some people get $1,000 makeup PR packages, but I get pecan halves. And honestly, on my dead ass father's grave, I wouldn't want it any other way. So thank you, Fisher nuts. They're like, well, we will never work with you now. So Texas sheet cake has some pecans on it, and I love pecans. They're my favorite nut. We'll see if I put that in. So pecan halves, I'm just gonna roughly chop about a handful of these because we only have a 13 by 18 baking sheet, and the nuts aren't supposed to like cover everything. They're just sort of supposed to be speckled on there. So let's get that started. Y'all have told me that you like me putting the subtitles and stuff. Last video where I remake Joshua Weissman's burger, which is right here. You can see that if you want. And by if you want, I mean please watch it. And so you guys told me that you liked the subtitles when my like mouth isn't in the thing. One day soon I'll get to a point where I can do full closed captioning because I want to fully include my deaf and hard of hearing community. So hopefully this is okay for right now. I did want to see if you guys like the voiceovers, like when I'm doing stuff and there's time lapses and everything like that, which I think are so fun. So I think other people like them, but if you don't, please let me know. Yeah, if you guys like that, I would love to be privy to your affinity for it, and let me know. So now let's chop some pecans. So I am just grabbing a big ol' handful of those pecan halves, putting them on my cutting board. Again, like I mentioned a little earlier, I wish I would have used a few more, but it ended up being totally fine. Just give those a rough chop. We don't want them too small or too big, or do whatever you want. I don't know, whatever cake you're gonna make is gonna be great. Now I am just rotating that cake. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that in 1 second. So I just rotated my cake as you guys saw, and you want to do that because most ovens are a bit uneven. Home ovens, professional ovens, like there's always going to be a couple hot spots here or there, and you can test that out by getting a large baking sheet and putting a bunch of little pieces of white bread on there and seeing which white bread toasts the most after 10 minutes because they all go in at the same time. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. And that will show you like, oh, my back left corner is super hot. My right front corner, it doesn't. So that's why we like to rotate it all the way around. And if you have two things on different racks, you want to move those racks as well. So like top row to the bottom row and the bottom row back to the top row after I've turned them around. Now that these pecans are nice and chopped up, we are just going to dry toast them in a pan so that it brings out that really nutty, beautiful, earthy quality of the pecan, which I love a lot. And let's start that. So I'm just gonna get this on about medium heat. And so there's no real like exact science to this. Okay. So there's no real exact science to this. Well, maybe there is, I don't know. I'll look for an academic journal article on why we toast our nuts. But really you just want to kind of bring out those fats. There's so much fat in nuts, which is great. That's what makes them so tasty and yummo. Just sort of bringing all that out and giving a nice golden color to what we already have going. I'm just gonna let these live their life for like maybe a couple more minutes over medium heat. I just turned my cake. Once we pull our cake out, that's when we're gonna start making our frosting, because we don't want the cake to be piping hot when we frost it, but we do want it to be a little warm because our frosting is gonna be a stovetop frosting, so it's gonna be a little bit warm as well. Now that these are going, we can actually start to get out the stuff we will need for that, which is just a saucepan, butter, buttermilk, a bit of salt, vanilla. So we've got all our frosting ingredients. Oh, is it starting to burn? Okay, these smell perfect. We're just gonna put these off to the side and wait for our cake to finish. Let's check it out though. Oh, she's looking real pretty. Let's check that actually. Okay, that's actually perfect. So just a little baking tip. A lot of the times you'll see for cake recipes that you can tell the cake is done when you insert a toothpick in the center and it comes out with a few moist crumbs. This is a couple minutes before that stage. So things are starting to solidify and you can start seeing where the cake chunks are coming in, like right there, but it's still got batter going on and it's not ready. We're gonna wait for that and we'll check back in a sec. Hello. Our cake just came out. It looks beautiful. I wanted to show you the toothpick that I knew it was time to take it out with. So see how there are just a couple moist crumbs crumbs that are clinging to this toothpick. That's how I knew I was ready to take it out. I'm going to bring my stick of butter. If anyone didn't know, 1 stick of butter is pretty much always half a cup. Just putting her over medium heat. We need 1/3 of a cup of cocoa powder. I like to whisk my cocoa powder because it's very prone to just like balling up and clumping up. All that. Okay, perfect. So our butter is melted. Now we're adding in 1/3 of a cup of cocoa. Okay, also need 1/3 of a cup of buttermilk again. Boom, boom. 3 cups of powdered sugar. We're going to leave it on the heat for 1 second. So here's our first cup. I'm just keeping it off the heat so it doesn't get too hot. Now we'll whisk this guy in. And see, it almost kind of loosens it. It's crazy. And this is what's gonna make it that really beautiful, shiny texture. Making a total mess. I'll clean this up later. Looks kind of cool. We're gonna add a touch of vanilla right now. Oh, don't do that. Ouch, that's hot. Oh gosh, look at that. It's this beautiful shiny icing. Now I'm gonna let this cool for just a minute because I don't want it to be piping hot when I put it on there, but we will be putting it on there in a sec while I try and clean this up. You guys are catching me at a very difficult time. I had a really beautiful shot of pouring the icing on the cake and I wasn't recording. And the whole time that I've been doing my YouTube channel, I've been really proud that I'm not one of those people who's like, I wasn't recording. And now I get it. Now I know that that's a real thing and that it sucks and I should be less of a bitch. Let's just try to get a shot of putting pecans on, I guess. It's not the same. I hate everything. Okay, now I'm just gonna wait for it to cool and try to collect myself for missing that shot. Okay, we are now at the best part of the day where I get to try it. This is my first bite. I have it on my Texas plate because it's Texas sheet cake, obviously. Wow. Holy okay. This crumb is so moist and beautiful. The frosting is fantastic. It's so soft. I will be finishing this off camera. You should make this. It's so good. It's so delicious. You guys saw how quick and easy it was. It came together like that. Truly, like, you can also do a lot of different things. You could put mini chocolate chips on top. You could put walnuts. Walnuts, pecans to me are the like classic, but walnuts and pecans are both like traditional. So you could do sprinkles, you could do anything. I really didn't change too much about the recipe at all. It was stellar. Thank you, stay-at-home chef. This was great. Nobody asked me to do this. I simply just wanted to. So let me know if you guys like this kind of video. I will be happy to make more. I'm very happy to be cooking and baking more again. So thank you guys for joining me along with that. Please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, put on the bell notification. Yeah, leave me comments. I asked you some questions throughout the video. Leave that, and also leave what your favorite cake is. And also if you have a good cake memory. And I'll see you guys soon.